who is this new Captain America? And should MCU fans hate him right away for looking like this Pixar character? These are the burning questions that the internet has. We're going to break it all down, and we're going to do a deep dive on the character of John Walker from Marvel Comics, who is the new Captain America in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. What's up, everybody? It's Josh. Welcome back to the channel. Smash that like button and a reminder, a large part of what we are doing with the Den of Nerds is happening over on our live streaming channel. Also, spoiler warning for episode 1 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. If you haven't seen that yet, we are going to be getting into a few different spoilery type things that happen in that episode. Mainly the sort of reveal, or I guess twist, depending on how you look at it, for the end of the episode where you see that the government has reinstated the Captain America name with a new hero being Captain America. Now, this is set up as being a super big deal earlier in the episode when, in a conversation between Rhodey and Sam Wilson, Rhodey asks Sam why he didn't take up the mantle of the Captain America legacy.
So you're gonna make me ask, why didn't you take up the mantle?
It's implied that he instead came forward with the shield and gave it to the government, and his speech at the sort of funeral or whatever that was for Steve Rogers indicates that Sam believes that the world is in need of new heroes, and he also believes that the shield strictly belongs to Steve Rogers, that was Captain America. And look, we don't get a lot of information in this scene, but I'm sort of believing that Rhodey potentially even knew Steve's plan to a degree, because it implies that he knew that Sam had the blessing of Steve to take up the mantle. Because Sam even tells him when Steve first gave him the shield, he said it felt like it belonged to someone else, and that someone else was Steve. We're kind of given what happened, but not like explicitly told what happened. And I believe that when Sam gave the shield back to the US government, he probably came forward and told them the total story of what he saw and witnessed, or at least partially what he saw and witnessed. And I think Sam probably assumed that the government would retire the shield, that they would do the right thing, and that since Steve had asked Sam to be Captain America, but Sam had said no, that the legacy would end there, and they would sort of retire the shield with Steve's legacy. And then at the end of the episode, we see this dude, this Pixar-looking dude, show up, presumably with Steve's shield. You hear this government dude talking about how we need American heroes and somebody that like embodies American ideals, and you have a new Captain America, and then it's just literally just this literal Pixar looking white dude. We're led to just automatically, I think, not like that guy. Yeah, I literally think the character is showing up at the end in a way that's meant to upset us, because we're feeling for Sam. They sort of, in a way, did betray Sam's wishes, or perhaps Sam misunderstood what the government's role in the legacy of Captain America was, or what they were capable of. Either way, that scene stings, man. You're like, that should be Sam. Like, Sam should be Captain America, not this dude. But here's what's interesting, and this is really going to be a big part of the show moving forward, and that is that this character is not just some Pixar-looking dude. In fact, this is the actor Wyatt Russell, who's the son of Kurt Russell, and he is playing the Marvel Comics character of John Walker. And now let's do just a real quick TLDR on the Marvel character of John Walker, most notably known by the alias of U.S. Agent. According to Wikipedia, the character John Walker was first introduced as the supervillain Super Patriot in Captain America number 323 in November of 1986. Mark Grunwald created Walker to counter the general message in Captain America of patriotism being invariably good, describing him as somebody who embodied patriotism in a way that Captain America didn't, a patriotic villain. Basically, I just wanted to do the opposite of Steve Rogers. Okay, Steve Rogers is a poor northern urban boy, so I'll make a guy from rural middle-class South. Cap is old, so this guy will be real young and an up-and-comer. Cap has lofty ideals, so I'll make Super Patriot the more realistic and more pragmatic. So I put together this background and character traits by playing the opposite game. In Marvel Comics, John Walker was born in the fictional town of Custer's Grove, Georgia. He grew up idolizing his older brother Mike, a helicopter pilot who died in the Vietnam War in 1974. In the comics, John Walker served at Fort Bragg, but there's actually a large part where he serves during peacetime and isn't in a lot of conflicts. He receives an honorable discharge from the United States Army. He was told by a friend about the Power Broker, a mysterious individual who gave people superhuman abilities. Walker and his friend received treatments that granted them superhuman abilities. Now that's pretty freaking interesting, man. John Walker was literally created as the antithesis of Captain America. He's his total opposite in many different ways. I've read several stories with U.S. Agent or John Walker in them, and he's always struck me as an interesting character. To me, he's always seemed as something like halfway in between Captain America and the Punisher. Like, he's not quite Frank Castle, definitely not in his morals or in the way he just executes people. Like, I've actually seen some moments with John Walker that he's, a little bit more human than even Frank Castle. But he is definitely not Captain America, and he's more atypically military. You see, Steve wanted to join the military. He wanted to help. He had a big heart. He wanted to do the right thing. But there are some people that join the military not necessarily for the right reasons. It's sort of a darker side of the military and of war. But this is all very interesting, and it's going to be interesting to see how the MCU deals with some of these things and the military and some of the characters that have military backgrounds. I mean, Sam has a military background. Bucky has a military background. Steve has a military background. John Walker has a military background. And Frank Castle has a military background. It's going to be really interesting to see how they deal with all of that kind of stuff. So if that's the comic book version of John Walker, sort of the opposite of Captain America, what can we expect from this character in the MCU? Well, I'm assuming you can expect a lot of the general aspects of the character from the comics to be there with this Wyatt Russell version. In fact, let's check out this new interview where Wyatt Russell actually comments on this exact thing. Here's a quote that I found of particular interest from the article. Wyatt Russell says, "I don't think there's really been any MCU characters who have quite the dilemma he's had in terms of trying to fit into this sort of moralistic superhero world," Russell says of Walker. "He's been thrust into this role as Captain America, and he's going to do it his way, and he wants to do it right. But his way is a very specific way that he has learned through being basically a trained human hunter." I mean, that's what Marines are. They're not Steve Rogers. They're not the same. They're not like Boy Scouts anymore. They're a little bit more gnarly. Again, this goes into kind of what I was talking about. There's all different kinds of people that join the military and make up the armed forces for not only our country, but all countries around the world. And in certain branches of the military, like the Marines, the savagery that they have is a badge of honor. And the fear that that instills into the enemy is an important part of combat. Again, weird stuff going on here, really weird stuff, tricky stuff. I'm wondering how the show's going to handle it. Now, according to some of the leakers and insiders out there, they're going to do some really interesting things with the John Walker character, but he's definitely going to be brutal. He's apparently going to be able to use that shield and do things in combat that are savage. Which, let's just be real, we're going to absolutely love watching. We've also been told that he's going to be kind of cool. People might actually like him, including Bucky. And wouldn't that be a very interesting dynamic if at least initially Bucky Barnes supported John Walker as Captain America and thought he was the right guy for the job? Now, we must get into some things that we think are spoilers for potential plot points coming in the show. Again, this is all based on reports, leaks, insider information, so take it with a grain of salt. It might not be real at all, but given the fact that I'm pretty confident it is, I want to issue a slight spoiler warning. If you don't want any of the potential surprises for Falcon and the Winter Soldier ruined for you, get away from this video right now. All right, you're still here? Terrific. Let's talk about Super Soldier Serum. This really does appear to be a large part of what's going to be happening in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and we think that John Walker will be getting a version of the Super Soldier Serum injected into him, allowing him to have the strength and agility of Steve Rogers. Now, right away, I just want to point out that seeing this dude be savage with the shield, with Super Soldier Serum in him, yes, please. But I digress to the more important points. Look, the deal with this is, just like in the comics, this power broker character may well exist And that may be something that links the new Captain America and John Walker to the U.S. government, but also to some other very nefarious organizations. I'm talking about the Thunderbolts. I'm potentially talking about AIM and Hydra. We did see one of Hydra's favorite assets to use, and that would be Batroc the Leaper in the opening scene, having something to do with the Flag Smasher organization. And in case you didn't notice, those Flag Smasher they look like they're really strong, possibly enhanced with some kind of super soldier serum themselves. But there's sort of a summary, guys, of some of the things we think are coming for the John Walker character, ways that he will have conflict with Sam Wilson and potentially Bucky Barnes, and just in general the other Avengers and heroes. It's all really interesting stuff. I think it was a really cool and impactful tease to have him just show up at the end of the episode, but I don't know, man. I think they're going to do a lot with this character, potentially even have him in several projects moving forward, potentially Thunderbolts, Dark Avengers, different things like that. So I don't know. I'm actually really intrigued to see what they do with John Walker, Captain America, how these other characters respond. I think it's going to be really, really cool. But there you have it. So let us know what you think. Did you learn something about John Walker in this video? Let us know what you think they're going to do with the John Walker character. Do you hate him because he looks like that Pixar character? Let us know in the comments section below. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.